Good Monday morning, the Sonor family. Jules here, and we may have a long episode this morning, not because I'm going to talk in circles like I'm prone to do sometimes, especially when I'm really tired. I actually got some stuff to talk about today, and I imagine this is probably going to be the most informative coffee with Jules yet. So grab that cup of coffee if you don't have one in your hand already, and if you're in the evening, grab whatever. If it's the evening when you see this, grab whatever it is you like to drink and enjoy. So not going to have an interview this week and probably not next week. This week's going to be a really busy week for me. Today, I've got my new vintage series teak drum set landing and got a lot of cool stuff with it. Got the 13, 16, 18, 22. I've got hella hoops for my artist bronze snare drum, and I've got to be somewhere ready to play Wednesday afternoon. So I'm going to get it in today, and tomorrow I'm going to carry it over there to my normal church to get it all set up and dialed in. I'm going to change out batter heads, change out snare drum hoops, tweak the bass drum, get everything dialed in and ready to rock. And then Wednesday, I got to pack it all up. And I did buy bags. So I've actually got 10 packages coming in later today. And got bags and heads and all that good stuff. So, because of how busy I am and the fact that I don't have any interviews in post production, I've still not heard from Lamar Carter to get an approval to release his, and I'm tempted to just do it anyway because I was very careful to make sure there was no sensitive information in the one I completed. And in the next few weeks, I very well may just review that myself and make sure there's not any gray areas or any borderline stuff at all, and roll with that interview. So, other than that, we're looking at probably a couple of weeks with no Sonar Talk interviews. The kid of the week, I've got some people lined up. Got one guy particularly that's going to do a few of them, not necessarily in a row, but we'll get them all knocked out. And then if I have other people provide information to do theirs, then we'll stagger some of that so that you're not seeing the same guys rig over and over. Not that there's anything wrong with that. They're different drum sets altogether, so it's going to be just as interesting if I roll all of his out back, week to week, or if I stagger them with somebody else's. But because of some things going on, I have had a delay in getting that series kicked off, which hopefully will be a Wednesday a Wednesday release, I should say, once they do get rolling. I do plan to do a rig rundown of my own soon too, because I've got going to the vintage series from the SQ1s, and I had a vintage before but couldn't get the 18, so this is going to be teak, whereas before I had the vintage silver glitter. I'm a grown man, and so having a glitter colored drum set kind of screws with my ego just a little bit. But that really had nothing to do with why I didn't keep that one. What else? Still got gear on sale. Go to Reverb. Most of everything I got is on Reverb. If you want a better deal, contact me directly. Let me know what it is you need. Let me know where whether you're in the continental United States or not, and if not, where you are. We'll get it all figured out. What else? What else? What else? All right, I got one. We're gonna come back to that. 2 years ago, I was liquidating my life, moving up to New Hampshire to go to work for Drum Center of Portsmouth, and probably going to have a video about that pretty soon. The whole nuts and bolts of my experience there, the good, bad, and the ugly, and there was some of all of it. And I did not stay. I was there for about 6 weeks, and uh, for reasons that had nothing to do with Shane or anything like that. It just it got time to go. It got time to go, and it wasn't Shane's fault. It was nothing on to do with anything like that. Shane was very upfront. Everything he said he would do, he did. Um, More on that another day. Um, the other day, I did mention in a video, I'm trying to remember which video it was, but I referred to, oh, it wasn't even in the video. Um, Somebody was commenting about the pricing of the AQ2s and that you could go get something from another brand for that amount of money. And I pointed out that somebody that was buying that drum set isn't going to go buy another brand. If you're buying that drum set, it's because you're a Sonor fanatic and you want to be a part of what they're doing for the 150th anniversary. So, um, while I get the overall point that, you know, there's a lot of stuff in that same price range because the price does seem to be a little on the steep side. Um, so I get the point. But I made the point that I recklessly or sloppily mentioned in there the longest, that Sonor's the longest running manufacturer of professional drums, and this person came back and questioned me about Noble and Cooley. Well, let's clear that up. I've watched several videos in the past that answer this, and so I went back and watched the main one. Noble and Cooley, other than making field drums in the Civil War, Noble and Cooley was a toy drum manufacturer up until the 1980s. Okay. So I feel like the way I articulated it was absolutely correct. Um, Sonor is the longest running manufacturer of professional drums. Noble and Cooley did not enter the professional drum arena until 40 to 45 years ago. Now, that's aside from them making the field drums for the Civil War. But all kinds of industries get stuck making stuff for the Civil War, and I'm not knocking that, and I'm not, I'm not devaluing their contribution to the Civil War or negating the fact they made professional field drums. But I'm just saying they were a toy manufacturer that got pressed into service through their own action or requirement to make marching drums, for the war. Um, but other than that, if you go back and you look for Noble and Cooley drums from the 70s and 60s and back, if you find stuff, it's all toy drums. So uh, while you can split hairs and say that Noble and Cooley is the oldest drum manufacturer on the planet, um, if you do want to kind of zero in on professional drums, that eliminates them. And that was how I articulated it, and I had to come back on that particular video in the comments and kind of explain that. But I just want to talk about that here. So going forward, if I mention Sonor's long history, I will point out that they're the longest running manufacturer of professional drums, and there's no argument to that. Noble and Cooley will tell you that they didn't really ramp up or begin professional drum manufacturing until the 80s. I mean, I saw that on the video the other day. Now, the last thing for today um, is the Craftsman's Collection. I hoped to get a heads up before new stuff released, but I did not. And yesterday, uh, I saw somebody sent me a link. Actually, we thought it was another leak. There's been three leaks with the 150th anniversary stuff. Thought this was another leak, and turns out it was not. Yesterday was actually the official launch date. This is a vintage series drum set, but it's in the ruthenium, I think is how you say that. It's black chrome anyway, and it's maple shells. And if you go read the specs, Sweetwater right now has got the best written details on this. So check that out on Sweetwater. They're only getting one. Only 12 of these are, or excuse me, only try that one more time. Only 25 of these are coming stateside. Only 100 are being made altogether. And you can sit there and fuss about the sizes and all that for the price, but look at the drum set. and that is a high gloss finish. I read that and got to really looking, and it wasn't obvious to me in the beginning that it was high gloss finishes in the pictures provided, but it is, and it's the ruthenium plating on the hardware, and it's a beautiful drum set. And you know what? If I had money, I would buy one. I really would. That'd be a great rig to go carry around and get some bags for it. Let that be the portable set to go. When you've got a gig that you want a quick, easy load in and load out, and there's not many of them. These are going to go. I really believe these are going to go. So, as long as I said this thing was going to be today, I think it turned out not to be so long after all. I'm super excited, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I had a signature drum set about 20 years ago. It was Bubinga. I had a 14 by 14, 16 by 18, 18 by 19, and 22 by 18. It was my Phil Rudd dream set, and I never thought I would have one, and I did. But it was about 20 years old, and the 14 by 14 tom had a gouge that had putty in it where a seller, TJ Weisenhunt, I don't know whatever happened to that guy. I don't know if he's still around or not, but he sold it to me. I remember paying $400 for that drum back then. But I didn't know that so it kind of takes the air out of things when you get something and you find problems. And then the 18-inch floor tom, somebody had probably gotten pretty liquored up and drilled some holes in that thing to make a hanging tom out of it, and they didn't do a good alignment. The holes didn't line up with each other. By the time I got it, the tom mount bracket had been removed, and it'd been puttied up, and it was a hell of a crappy putty job. Looked like colored silly putty had been pressed in there and dried. And you know, when you're as anal about things as I am, I mean, I usually buy gear in new condition or mighty close to it and sell it in the same condition. I'm just really, really picky about my stuff. And so to buy gear that's already compromised really doesn't set well. So, I've said a lot here. What the point was, I did have the signature set that I bought, and it was about 20 years old. Different pieces, and some of it didn't match. That was another thing. Some of it was the more reddish looking, and some of it was more brown. So you got mismatched colors, and anyway, so I am more excited about the one I've got coming than I ever have been about anything before. This is my configuration. The 18-inch floor tom was available. This was the only color or only finish it was available in was the teak. When I first inquired, they had rosewood, and I was going to order the rosewood, even knowing that it was a replica veneer because of how pretty it is. And I was a little bit torn between it and the teak. What I liked about the teak was that it was a lighter hue, and a lot of places I've played when I go out and play, and sometimes at the church where I'm playing now, it seems like things appear darker in the back. So I kind of wanted to move away from darker colored drum shells for that reason. So the teak, since the rosewood became unavailable, the teak's fine. I'm actually looking forward to it, and probably more excited about the teak than I would have been the rosewood, even though I thought I wanted the rosewood. I probably could have flipped a coin and been happy either way, but as it works out, the teak's going to be great. And so Wednesday I've got a rehearsal out of town. Sunday I'm playing a homecoming at a church. And the funny thing is, I've played this church three different times, and every time I go there, I show up with a different Sonor drum set. I had the vintage silver sparkle 13, 16, 22, and then I took the SQ1s, but I don't remember if I took the 18 or not. Probably not. But now I'm going back with the new rig, and I'm looking forward to getting a video together. Looking forward to really getting it dialed in. I'm kind of apprehensive about the hella hoops. The snare drum sounds so good with the artist weight uh, hoops, the die-cast hoops, that I wonder if the hellas are going to suck anything out of that. But you know what? When I've seen videos for, Shane had the 10-year anniversary 6 by 14s and 8 by 14s a few years ago that had the hellas. All the reissues have had hellas, including the 150th anniversary one. So I think it's going to be a great thing, and I'm looking forward to it so much. Tonight will probably be the fifth night in a row I don't sleep real good. I'm been having a little issues with insomnia for some reason, but I'm not going to let that, keep me awake at night. Um, anyway, enough of all this. Guys, I appreciate you hanging in there. Finish up that cup of coffee, make it a great day, and see you sometime during the week, I'm sure. Thank you.